Hi everyone. After working for many years on AWS, I wanted to explore Azure platform and how one can build near real-time data pipelines using Confluent Kafka. So this is my attempt on building the near real-time pipeline using Confluent Kafka and Azure platform. So what we'll do is we'll have DataGen as source connector for all the data, and then that data will be pumped into Confluent topic, and then from the topic it will be pushed to Azure by Azure Cosmos DB sync connector. Now Azure Cosmos DB is like a NoSQL DynamoDB version of Azure, and then eventually that data will get to Cosmos DB, and from there you can run analytics, real-time analytics using Power BI. So that is kind of architecture I'm trying to build, and so let's continue with the hands-on portion of this. All right, so let's get started. So here I have the Confluent Kafka portal, and here I have Azure portal logged in. I will do everything from scratch. The cluster is already created. We need to make sure that um, the Confluent cluster and the Azure artifacts, they are all on the same region. So here you have East US2. And so let's go ahead and create a topic first. So we'll create a topic. We'll use employee data. So we'll name the topic as employees. We'll leave the partition as is. Advanced setting, we'll leave this as is. Topic defaults. Okay, and then we'll save and create. And so that will create a topic for us. The topic is empty right now. So let's go ahead and create the source connector. So we'll have sample data source connector, which will populate the employees topic. Let's continue to the next step. So we'll create a API key and download it, and we'll call it. We'll name it this way. Let's continue, and let's look for. So okay, I'd mentioned earlier that we'll use employee, so we'll use employee data. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let me go back. I have to select the format of the data. So okay, here. So okay, we'll leave the data as JSON right now. So the data format will be JSON, which will be output of this connector and input into Confluent. And we already selected payroll employee. And so rest of the configuration will leave it as is. Connector sizing 1. Let's go and review and launch. So let's go ahead and launch. So the connector is being provisioned, and we should see data in the topic pretty soon. It's empty right now. Connector is getting provisioned. Okay, here we see the data. So yep. So the employee data is getting created. So let's go ahead and pause our connector. Okay, it's still provisioning. Okay, so let it. Okay, so there you go. So let's pause the connector. Okay, so it takes a minute for the data to refresh, but the data is here. And so this is obviously fake data. So it has SSN in here as well, which is unmasked. We'll try and mask it when we try to push it to Cosmos DB. So now we have the front portion of the data into the topic. Now let's go ahead and create the Cosmos DB. So for that, let's go ahead and create Cosmos DB, and let's create new. Now we have to select. So workload, we'll just say learning for now. Resource group, we'll create new. So we can say, G for resource group. Click OK. Instance detail will say availability is on disable, and we wanted East 2, so US East 2. And that's where the Confluent cluster was. If you go to cluster settings, you will see that is US East 2. And so we select it has to be the same um, location. So US East 2, we'll select serverless, and let's global distribution. We don't want geo redundancy because it's just a proof of concept type situations. Let's go next. Rest everything we can, by and large we can keep it um, default. Click here for detail. Oh, it's east west. Okay, so okay, US East 2. And let's create. So we are creating the resource group. So then we will go in into the resource group, and then we'll create the container, we'll create the database, and that's where all the data will reside. So it might take just a hot minute for this to finish. Yes, me hitting refresh is not gonna make it any faster. All right, deployment succeeded. So let's go to the resource. So we have resource. There's a lot of things on the left now. Of interest to us is the settings where we can get the keys for connectivity, integration with Confluent, and then container. And then there is also Data Explorer. So those are three things of importance to us for this POC. So let's go ahead on containers and browse. So it does not. So let's just create new collection, new container. So database ID, employee DB, employee container, and we'll just say slash ID, and rest everything we can leave as default. So, all right. So this is NoSQL database, so we have good flexibility. But of course, our source has fixed schema from the DataGen source connector that is populating topic. So we don't have to worry about too much changes in schema or in the way data is going to come into this um, in this Cosmos database. All right, so we have the employee DB and we have the employee container. So right now, if you look at the items, there is nothing in here. Those items would show here. So now let's go ahead and set up the sync container. So let's go to connectors. Let's look for one. So, okay, we can add. So there are source and sync connectors. What we are looking for is a sync connector to push data from Confluent topic to Azure. So we'll select this one. This is a symbol. This is a symbol of fully managed container. So we'll select that. And the source will get data from employees and push to Cosmos. So let's select that. Let's go to next. We already have the key, so we'll just use existing key, and we'll enter the key here. continue. Um, Cosmos endpoints. Let's go to Cosmos. Uh, like I said, we have to go to settings, uh, keys. So this URI is the endpoint. So let's go ahead and there's more information on the right about some documentation on it. This one is not it. Okay, we have the endpoint, Cosmos DB name, we have auth type mastery, Cosmos DB account key. So account key, let's go ahead and let's get the primary key. Clipboard. We got that. Cosmos DB name. So to look up the DB name, we go to containers and browse. DB name, so employee DB. So this is moment of truth for it to be able to connect. Everything has to align the region and all these credentials for it to be able to connect. Yes, so it's connected now. So we have JSON. So now this is um, contain topic container map. So you have to give topic name, and then the pound sign, and then the container name. So topic name. I don't want to guess, so I'll open another tab and click on topics. Okay, the employees. So topic found container. So we'll look for container. Container rest everything we can, leave it as is. I just want to change one thing though, because we have social security number that was in the topic, and now we are pushing. Of course, it's sample data, but I just want to see if we can do this SMT, single message transform. What it will allow us to do is it will allow us to mask. So we'll call it mask. SSN mask will allow us to mask the SSN because we don't really need SSN for analytics purposes, I think. And then we'll select mask field. So this is really easy to, and the field name is SSN. Of course, we can go in and check. Yep, the field name is SSN, so that works. And what we want to do is we want to replace with asterisk. Okay. And I think rest everything we can leave as is. And of course, we can play around different options and um, explore that. But I wanted to really do a quick and fast proof of concept for this near real time data pipeline. Now, what this will do, this is provisioning our connector. So as soon as the connector is up and running, it will start to push data from our topic to Azure. So we should be able to see the data in here pretty fast. So we have Data Explorer here. Okay, there you go. So we have the data here. So this is how the data comes in. And if you look at the data, it is masked here. And it is real time. Data is getting updated as data gets populated in the topic. It is getting pushed here um, from that connector, from that topic. So the masking worked, and we have everything here. Slash ID. The ID was our employee ID. So I hope this was useful. Kind of. Okay, so this was a quick and dirty proof of concept implementation of near real time data pipeline using Confluent and Azure platform. What we did was we started with DataGen Source Connector. We pushed the data from that sample data from employee data to Confluent topic. From Confluent topic, the data was pulled by Cosmos DB sync connector and was pushed to Azure from Confluent topic, and then it was available on Cosmos DB. And we can expand it further and do analytics on Cosmos DB, but I haven't done that. That's maybe for a future video. But this kind of the data pipeline that I wanted to build. I hope this was helpful. Thank you. Thanks for watching.